Raptors fans. The boys are in the building. Welcome to the Raptors today. Akil Augustine, all draped in purple because, I'm really feeling good about this team, guys. We got Randy Urban, no purple, no hints of purple on his outfit.
Pink.
Okay, that doesn't count.
You should do that opening every time.
Yeah, you like that? My pipes can't last. And the principal, Paul Jones. Let's get into it. The Raptors get a big W.
Yeah.
They're finding the win column more and more often. Let's get into the specifics of this game against the Pacers, though, because one of the bugaboos for this Raptors team has been close games and collapses. They held an early lead against the Pacers team, but then towards the end of that third quarter, it got whittled down. The Raptors stymied that and found their way back. Jonesy, talked to us about the growth that we're seeing from these young players in being able to handle that situation.
It was interesting because you saw a marked change in the game in the third quarter when Indiana, who's not a great defensive team, realized, okay, we might not be able to stop these guys, so let's just turn up the heat and get this windshield wiper, get this thing going back and forth. And I think Toronto succumbed to some bad shots. They had done a pretty good job of protecting the ball. Turnovers started to creep in, untimely ones, and all of a sudden the game gets close. And as you said, the growth was, to me, that was shown was, all right, hold on, let's pull it back here. Let's start looking after the ball. Let's start taking better shots. Let's start trying to get to the foul line, get into the paint. And if we are going to get threes, get them on kickouts after we touch the paint.
Dare I even say there were some decisions that were made that were timely. There was a timeout made by Darko to get that Jakob RJ handoff, get RJ going downhill.
Right. That was an ATO play. But that's how you've learned, and that's how you stop runs. And then not only do you have to call the play, you better execute it and not turn it over. And I thought they'd showed a lot of that, and Indiana kind of ran out of gas. Indiana had one shot when they were down 2 that would have given them the lead, and they didn't make it, and then it was downhill from there.
Yeah, I just think they got a little sloppy there for a little bit, turning it over. I know they had 21 turnovers, the same as Indiana, but they were playing better basketball. So to get that number at the same was just kind of I just felt like a little sloppy. But they got some timely late in the clock threes too from their smaller guards that were
one was
and Mitchell made one too, and I just thought that those were good games to kind of quell whatever, or good shots to kind of quell what Indiana was doing. Now, unfortunately, you didn't want it to get that close, but it's hard not to talk about this overall game without talking about Scottie, because whenever he goes down and comes out and then comes back in, the game just changes back in their favor. Yeah. The possessions are better, the shots are better. He was unbelievable. And I just think overall the team had a different energy to start the game.
Well, let's talk about Scottie, because you hit the nail on the head. I mean, we came into this production meeting ahead of the show like 35 points is a career high for Scottie Barnes. Like, that seems odd, right? But his best games are usually darn near triple doubles.
Yeah, right.
But let's talk about the approach, Randy, and what you see from him. You get to be around the guys for Open Gym when you're producing. What do you see? Because ever since he's returned from injury, his approach and his ability to take on responsibility, he's grown in leaps and bounds.
Well, I think one thing when someone asked Darko about are you comfortable with him shooting this many threes? And he said, no, I want him shooting more. Right away.
Around 7.
Yeah, right away. You're going, okay, coach believes in me more than maybe I even believe in myself. This is amazing. And second of all, going back to the energy thing, there was this element of fire coming out of him at the jump. Before the game started, he was just,
I saw it.
You saw, I don't know if the broadcast picked it up, but he was just screaming. And then you saw it after the game too. There was this elaborate,
Jakob one.
Yeah, a little bit of more elaborate celebration. So I think what's happening is he's back, he's feeling good, and he's looking around, and he's like, this is not a rebuild. These are some good. My dogs with me. We got some good players here, and we're starting to believe. And now Scottie is going.
And they still don't have everybody healthy.
No,
right.
No.
You're still missing basically
Grady,
3-4 rotation guys, right? Grady, quickly,
Olynyk,
Bruce Brown,
four guys that are going to get minutes.
Right.
So let me ask you this about Scottie though, because you mentioned the increase in 3-point shooting, but when you look at that game too. He shot the 3, but he was so physical. He did
everything.
Defense.
He did everything.
A beautiful blend.
I think, Randy, you talk about his energy. Part of it was drawn out of him because Andrew Nembhard picked him up full court. And he was trying to be physical with him.
Nembhard's a good defender.
He's a good defender. And Scottie was like, oh, okay, so this is what we're doing now. And not that not that Nembhard was trying to wake the sleeping giant, but he did poke the bear a little bit, picking him up full court, being physical with him. And then you talk about the three-point shooting. Scottie stepped into every one of those threes with conviction.
Yeah.
Like there was not one tentative, I got to get this up at the end of the clock. It was like, oh, hell no, I'm making this.
How dare you disrespect me and sag into the key?
The ball would swing to the corner and he would knock it down. The ball would come to the top and he was above the break. And he's like, I'm shooting this and it's going down.
And you build that reputation that guys have to come up and then you can get downhill even better.
The confidence too.
Well, and
that to me, really stood out.
Quickly before we got to get to Scottie, it's his moment.
Yeah, I just think that the way he's finishing is a lot different than he has in the past. His finishes are more dynamic. They're more elaborate. They're more difficult.
They're slower too, right?
Yeah,
He's got that
just
slow,
controlled.
Controlled. And
Controlled.
he's just finishing in a variety of different ways. And when you add that sort of dynamicism,
you can make up words if you want. Go
dynamic
ahead.
behavior.
Yeah, that works too.
When you add that, you become a superstar.
Yeah.
Right? When you can score in not just one way, not just two ways, not just three ways, in a multitude of ways, you become a different player, and he's a different animal right now.
As well as distributing the ball. The only thing I want to see him clean up are the turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are. Don't know if I should have made that play, but he's been playing great. He's been playing great.
Don't worry, Jake. I'll get us to commercial right now. No, first Scottie. Here's Scottie, then a commercial, then more.
Dynamicism.
More dynamicism after this.
What motivated you? What were you seeing on the court that allowed you to find those seams and get to the rim so often?
I was just being aggressive, trying to get downhill and just playing from there. Going downhill with force, I think. Our coach has just been telling me that a lot lately. Drive downhill with force, create that contact and just try to finish through it, go try to dunk. Just trying to start off early, not wait until like the second half to get it started, being more aggressive early. It's paying off. We just believe in each other so much. These guys have a lot of freedom, and our coach allows them to have that freedom when they're out there on the floor. We want them to be aggressive. It only helps our team for the best. We don't really see these rookies. You don't really see their downs. Even if no matter how the outcome of the game go, we're just really so well connected together, and our plane rides back home. If we're on the road, we're still talking, communicating. This group is just so well connected, and I love that about this team. That's one of our best traits, and that's when you have a well-connected team, that's something special to be a part of. We have a lot of guys that's communicating off the court. We're constantly texting. We play the game together. We do a lot of different things together, and, that just helps us in the long run.
Again, in the last few minutes, your team really executed well and closed out a game. You seeing growth in that aspect of the game?
Definitely yes. Indiana, and we talked about it before the game, that's a tough team to play against. Just their ability to create threes off the dribble, just their ability to run in transition. They're scoring bunches. And, if you have a 15-point lead, you might think, we're safe. And then very quickly you learn that it's bang-bang, that the game can take different course. I thought that in the fourth quarter when they went on the run, we hit a timeout and just said, all we got to do is one possession at a time. We got to really focus on us, how we're executing on offensive end and defensive end. I thought that our execution down the stretch in the last 4 or 5 minutes was really, really good. So I think we were getting better in that aspect.
What about his defense do you think has been different this season? It seems like he's picked it up a notch on the defensive end compared to last year.
He was always very intense. I think he's just maturing as a player, knowing tendencies, knowing what players are doing, getting more comfortable inside our schemes as well. We as a team, we try to be very aggressive, and that's what Scottie wants to do. That's for me as a coach, it's a true blessing when your best player is really embracing that style of defense, and that makes everybody else to step up a notch defensively as well.
Obviously, RJ was carrying a big workload, playing really well when Scottie was out, and he hasn't really missed a beat. How are you seeing those two playing off of each other right now?
I think they're really complementing each other. Both of them capable to play on the ball, both of them more than capable of playing off the ball. I thought that they they did a really good job offensively, and I'm always gonna be the first one to praise them when they do good stuff. I still expect more from them, execution-wise, taking care of the ball when we need it. Again tonight, big number of turnovers, and we need to continue watching film and studying and trying to clean that up, because that's gonna really unlock a lot for us.
Hey, it's JYD. Thanks for watching the Raptors YouTube channel. Check out our latest videos and subscribe for more.
Taken away by the Raps on the run. Finch to JYD. Beautiful pass. Chuck, one of the things I'm noticing about this start.